The Atlanta Braves take game of the World Series last night, but they lost Charlie Morton in the process. The Chuckster fractured his right fibula on the rocket comebacker by Yuri Gurriel. And Charlie Morton's out for the rest of the postseason, and it's a huge deal. Morton is a big game pitcher, a phenomenal big game pitcher, as Astros fans know well. But how about the toughness of Charlie Morton to get 3 outs after he broke his leg? Wow. Braves pen was awesome last night, but now there's more pressure on Max Fried to give Atlanta length. He's good, but 4 or 5 innings against the Astros, not going to cut it. The Astros bats held in check last night, but they haven't been held back-to-back games under 5 runs since September. They came into the World Series averaging the most runs per game, including the playoffs, for any World Series-bound team since the 2007 Red Sox. Astros going to rock and roll on offense tonight, which is why grabbing Game 1 was so vital for the Atlanta Braves. Jorge Soler going yard on a 2-0 cookie from Valdez to lead off the ball game was huge. And then how about Riley and Duvall getting it done to put Houston in a legitimate hole? Look, I thought that the Astros would come back right here in the bottom of the first. What a play by Albie. That was absolutely tremendous. I thought Kyle Tucker, who's a great player, would absolutely come through and the floodgates would open. But listen, that was the play of the game, play of the night. I do think Houston wins tonight. I think the Astros bats explode, though I wasn't remotely sad when the fraudulent 3 went 0 for Game 1 and couldn't make contact. But Altuve, Bregman, and Correa, they have a knack, and I give them credit for that. I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Astros win Game 2, and the Morton injury looms large in the Astros winning it all. Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, speaking yesterday at the owners' meetings about the situation surrounding Deshaun Watson. And let's remember all of the facts here. Deshaun Watson is currently facing 22 civil lawsuits and 10 criminal complaints from women accusing him of sexual misconduct. Now, Watson has denied any wrongdoing, with investigations currently ongoing by the Houston Police, the FBI, and the NFL. And as you just heard Goodell say, the NFL does not yet have enough information to place Watson on the commissioner's exempt list. Watson has been president at the Texans team facility daily since the start of training camp, but has been inactive for every game so far this season. Watson requested a trade from the Houston Texans all the way back in January, and the Texans continue to explore trade options for him with the trade deadline on November the 2nd, so that's, of course, quickly approaching. But remember, Watson has a full no-trade clause in his contract, so he's going to have the opportunity to approve or veto any potential destination. Multiple reports indicate Miami is the only team Watson will waive his no-trade clause for. In fact, our good friend John McClain over at the Houston Chronicle is reporting that the framework of a deal between those two clubs is actually in place. The NFL Network reported today Carolina is out on Watson, which I'll interpret likely means he just didn't want to go there, wasn't going to waive the aforementioned no-trade clause. Tua Tagovailoa met the press today and says he's been told by Brian Flores he's the guy. But let's be honest, he's not. Miami is a desperate 1-6 mess. Now, when it comes to Deshaun Watson, there is a major risk-reward with a Watson trade, obviously. On the field, he's a top 4 quarterback in the NFL. He's a superstar. Me, personally, I wouldn't trade for him. What he's been accused of is repulsive, and it's a pattern of predatory behavior. But when Goodell says he doesn't have enough to suspend, that's going to equal a trade. And frankly, I'm personally stunned that Watson has not been suspended. Players in the NFL have been disciplined for less. Think about Ezekiel Elliott. But Goodell's comments are on the record. So that, to me, is very noteworthy. It's obviously crystal clear Watson doesn't want to be in Houston. Houston doesn't want him. The NFL isn't about to discipline him. Miami is a mess. I think this all adds up to Watson being a Miami Dolphin by next Tuesday. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are 5-2, and Joe Burrow's not satisfied. The Bengals are the current 1 seed in the AFC the Wednesday before Halloween. It's great, right? Whatever. Joe Burrow has bigger goals, bigger fish to fry, like in January and February. Wow, does my guy Joe Burrow get it? Joe Burrow changes everything for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow has changed the perception and the reality. He's a star. He gets it. He has it. He oozes it. Joe Burrow leads the league in it. That's why the Bengals are for real. That's why they can beat the Ravens in Baltimore, and there's no chance of a trap game or a letdown game against the lowly and pathetic and anemic Jets this weekend. The rapport that he has with Jamar Chase is legendary. Remember the Twitter tough guys and the self-proclaimed draft gurus who thought the Bengals should take a tackle? I mean, that's laughable, crazy talk. Now with Chase's talent and built-in chemistry with Joe Burrow from a historic LSU team. And now Chase is not only having a Rookie of the Year season, but an all-time rookie season. But it's the defense that really makes this thing work as a team. I mean, this Bengals defense is legit. They're opportunistic. They're dominant. They flummox the seemingly unflappable Lamar Jackson. Cincinnati has a real defense, a real running attack, and a cool franchise quarterback who makes the Cincinnati Bengals real and spectacular. No LeBron, no problem for the LA Lakers last night. LA's win was, I'll tell you exactly what it was. Gigantic. How the Lakers were able to win while making sure that LeBron was able to rest his ankle, that's the whole point of the Russ trade. Russ is the Energizer Bunny. I think Russ is an all-time player, Mr. Triple-Double. I love the fact that they can make sure that LeBron is 100% for everything in the second half and in the postseason. And I love what Anthony Davis, who was terrific last night as well, what AD said after the game. Look, we want Russ to be Russ, and it's on us to adjust around him. That was beautiful. That was gigantic in terms of how they won and all the elements with Westbrook playing brilliant basketball and LeBron in street clothes making sure he's 100% moving forward. The Knicks crushing the Sixers last night was needed. The Knicks needed that. They had lost 15 straight to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks are a tremendous squad, well coached. I was floored what happened on Sunday, where the Knicks lost at home to a lowly Orlando team. This after they destroyed Orlando on Friday night. So the fact on national TV, Kemba Walker could have his coming out party coming back home and best game of the 4 he's played in the Knicks uniform. Knicks had balanced scoring, hit a lot of outside shots. RJ Barrett was terrific. I thought that was needed. And I told you preseason on Time to Shine, Knicks were going to be better than the Philadelphia 76ers. And that was proof, and that was needed. We are thrilled once again to be joined by CBS Sports NFL analyst, our good friend Amy Trask. And Amy, we touched on this earlier in the show. Roger Goodell saying the NFL does not have the necessary information to put Deshaun Watson on the exempt list. If you're a team trading for Deshaun Watson, what do you need to know from both a legal and a league perspective?
Well, I want as much certainty as I can get in both regards. From a legal standpoint, I want to know what Deshaun did, if anything. I want to talk to Deshaun. I want to talk to lawyers representing Deshaun. I want to talk to lawyers representing those who have made allegations against Deshaun. And I want to get a sense on my own from those conversations as to what I believe transpired. from a league standpoint, I want certainty, and it doesn't look like that's possible right now. It's one thing to trade for someone that you know won't be playing for the rest of this season. But what about next season? Are you trading for someone who may be suspended for all of 2022? Is that something you wish to do? So again, going in reverse order, from a league standpoint, I want certainty before making a trade. But from a legal standpoint, I want to determine as best I can what, if anything, transpired. And as I said, I would speak with lawyers for Deshaun, lawyers for those who've made allegations, and I would want to speak with Deshaun directly and have that conversation eye to eye.
Amy, Roger Goodell also spoke about the Washington football team investigation, saying he believes he disciplined Dan Snyder enough. I don't. Do you? And in your opinion, should the NFL release the Washington emails?
Well, let's talk first about the $10 million fine. While objectively, $10 million is a lot of money. If I told you right now, Adam, I'm writing you a check for $10 million, or someone told me they were writing me a check for $10 million, that'd be pretty nifty. But when you put $10 million in perspective, in a relative sense, it is not that much when looked at along the lines, or looked at in perspective, I should say, with annual team revenues. Look, I spent almost 30 years in the league looking at annual team revenues from the highest revenue club to the lowest revenue club. And I know the relativity of $10 million to those annual revenues. So is $10 million standing on its own a lot of money? Sure. Is it a lot of money when put in that perspective? No, it's not. As to the release of the documents, I believe in transparency. As a general proposition, as a general rule, I believe in transparency for any number of reasons. So the league has to decide, does it want to be transparent? And thus far, it appears it does not. But the other thing the league has to focus upon is, does it believe it can stem the leaks that we've already seen? Can it just stop future leaks? All those years in the league, my experience was it's very, very hard to stop leaks. So the league is balancing two things. Does it want to be transparent for the purposes of being transparent? And does it believe it should release more before more may be leaked?
I think you summed it up perfectly, Amy. The Buffalo Bills' proposal to move the coaching hiring cycle to after the Super Bowl did not gain any traction. That was disappointing to me. Do you believe that candidates would benefit and teams would benefit if, in fact, they move the date to after the Super Bowl?
I believe both candidates and teams would benefit. And this is something I've been stating going all the way back to my years in the league. Not only does it make all the sense in the world to me to change the date until after the Super Bowl, it makes no sense not to do it. It puts every team on equal footing. It puts every candidate on equal footing. Let me tell you something, Adam. Teams that are in the playoffs do not want their coaches distracted by what might be a further or future or next opportunity. So why the heck not push it till after the Super Bowl? We know the league is now a 12-month-a-year public-facing business. This simply moves the date, provides more content for the offseason, does no harm, and as I said, puts every team and every candidate on equal footing. And I don't see a good reason not to do this.
Very well said, Aim. I've been arguing that for years, and you're 100% correct. I just don't get it in any way, shape, or form. And how about this? The NFL is planning enhancements aimed to the ROONEY Rule, including mandating at least one in-person interview with an external minority candidate for a head coach and general manager jobs. In your opinion, is this a step in the right direction? What else needs to be done?
Well, people need to simply do the right thing without being required by rule to do something. In other words, it saddens me, it angers me, it bothers me in every regard, it distresses me that people need a rule to do what's right. That said, the rule is in place because not every organization was doing the right thing. So might it help? Sure, it might. Unfortunately, we may continue to see teams simply check a box. Okay, quick, let's check a box, and go on and hire the person we already made up our mind we were going to hire before going through these steps. Look, I'm going to say it again. Do the right thing. And by the way, businesses, not just NFL teams, but businesses that do not hire in a diverse and inclusive manner are harming themselves.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.